Okay. Matt, come on onto the screen here. We are going to get back to here. Hey, brother.
What's up, my man?
It's so great to have you, man. Super excited to have Matt Brown with us. Matt and I told this story before. So first of all, thanks so much. It's great to have you here. Obviously, we've been interacting for the last year or so, much more routinely than we had before that. But I don't know about you guys, but I used to watch the early days of the UFC. I remember watching that fight. I remember then when I realized the guy was from Columbus, I was like, holy crap. So I was a fan back in the day, and then getting to know him, realizing that he's a super good dude as well. I love the fact that he loves his kids. He loves business. He loves success. We had him on for just a short period of time, maybe a month ago, and we had a little clip. It took off and got some pretty good views on YouTube when he was talking about, waking up and having a warrior's mindset. So I want to dive right in, Matt. A lot of people have not heard your story. So over 40 fights in UFC and having the record in welterweight, number 2. But let's talk about it real quickly, and hopefully, if you might want to slide that mic a little bit this way too, just to make sure we've got, because the kids will be turning this way. A little more. All right, sweet. So let's just start real quickly. Like, have you been I know the answer here, but for guys to know, have you been a fighter your entire life? A lot of people might think, oh man, this guy was like a wrestler when he was in 6th grade and he's fighting. Like, give us a little bit of your story. Let's start with that so people know where this all originated.
Well, I mean, in some respects, I was a fighter my whole life, right? Like, backyard fighter. I grew up in a very, very small town, population of 200 that no one here has heard of.
Mm-hmm.
In between Cincinnati and Columbus, right off 71. And fighting was like just a normal thing, like my kids now. I've asked them before, they're going into high school, and I was like, do you guys ever see any fights in school? And they're like, no. They look at me like I'm weird. I'm like, we did that like every week. That was like just a normal thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I didn't grow up necessarily a fighter. It was just a thing that we did. It was like normal.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. But then what was really, and I think what were some of your sports, like, just for guys to know? And I think you said you weren't super into organized sports once you got into high school. But tell us a little bit about your high school years, and then we'll make the flip, obviously, to UFC.
Well, high school was when I started kind of going down the wrong path,
So what's that look like?
A lot of drinking, drugs, partying, just being around the wrong people, and not really, the way that I like to say is like I tried to find myself, and that's like the low-hanging fruit of finding yourself.
Right.
That's why, right on the back of my shirt, it says, my quote is, stop trying to find yourself and start to define yourself. And that was where that quote came from, because that was, in my opinion, was a huge mistake that I made, was like just trying to find myself and reacting to what found me versus deciding this is who I'm going to be.
Yeah. So lots of drugs, lots of alcohol. I think this isn't just casual drinking. This isn't just smoke a little weed here and there. Like, you were doing hard stuff, right?
Yeah. It turned,
and as a matter of fact, it
turned into eventually, cocaine was a huge part of my life that I really loved. Crystal meth was probably my worst addiction that I had. Ended up even doing basically whatever came my way. Heroin ended up being a part of my life. Ended up overdosing on heroin, coming back to life, dealing with all that. And that's
let's pause on that, because that's the part I wanted to come to. Like, so we're not just talking like we smoked a little weed and we did some shrooms, and tried that. Like we're talking, because a lot of people don't come back from that. Like, they go down that route, and like that defines their life the rest of their life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you said it super casually, because you said it so many times. You said you died and you came back to life. So unpack that.
Technically dead.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I say it kind of casually too, because it wasn't as big of an impact on my life as people would think that it would be. I was so naive, and basically when I left the hospital that day, while my mind was, okay, I'm not going to do heroin again, but that cocaine is still, cool.
So it wasn't like all your drugs in your mind were going to be gone. It was just like that drug.
Yeah. I was like, well, don't do that again.
Okay.
But we can still party, but all it was just not having a purpose in life, not knowing, not caring about who I was, or not having a direction and things like that. It wasn't that I was necessarily I don't necessarily consider myself an addict. I don't consider myself a low level person like that mentally. But I just didn't have anything else to do. You know, I come from a small town, had no ambition, had no idea how big the world is and the opportunities out there. It felt like I was just stuck here, and it was like, okay, well, you know, just get through today and, you know, make it to the weekend, get your paycheck, and you'll be cool.
So does that almost like when you see like the fentanyl epidemic that everybody talks about, especially in the small towns, can you totally resonate with that? And
absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's just people that don't understand. I mean, of course there's addicts, which is a different thing, right? But when you're truly an addict, and we know enough of those. But I think for the most part, it's just people without direction, right? They just don't have, you know, an old quote is like, no hope equals no fear, right? And like with these guys, they just don't feel like there's hope out there for them. So like, why be afraid to risk your life? You know, why not go party? Why not just live for today and all that kind of stuff?
So so Narcan, back to life. Tell us about how you got into fighting, and then everybody probably wants to know, but what was it like fighting in the UFC, man? Like a lot of us watched it. I mean, maybe there's some folks that are watching either live with us today or you know, on the YouTube channel.
You know, the way I like to say is cocaine got me into fighting, and fighting got me out of cocaine.
There you go.
So I literally just signed up one day. It was in Chillicothe, Ohio. There was a Moose Lodge or Elks Lodge or something like that. And, you know, back in the day, they had these fights with no commissions. You know, it was way different than it is today.
Yeah.
And it was like you'd see on a movie. You know, there's people smoking cigars, betting on the fights. And the announcer says, who wants to fight the champion? Whatever. And I just got out of the bathroom. Imagine what, you know, not using the restroom, but I just came out and I was like, dude, I'll fight him right now. Let's go. And I literally went across the street. There was a sporting goods store, about a mouthpiece and a cup. There was a restaurant also down the street.
Were there gloves? Gloves?
Good. They give you the gloves.
Okay. But you got a mouthpiece and a cup. You're like, I'm good.
Yeah. Went to the restaurant, boiled the mouthpiece, came back, had to pay $30, and I fought that night and won. So suddenly I thought I was a badass and thought that I was doing all this the right way. I did that 2 more times, actually. I would just show up and sign up that day and fight.
Yeah.
You know, do a couple lines and go fight. Finally, I did my third one. I got my ass kicked like tremendously bad, like really bad. I was going against an actual professional, you know. So I said, okay, well, yeah, I need to get to a gym, right? So I went to a gym, local gym here in town. And there was the Hammer House was there.
Yeah.
Some really high level professional guys. Coleman wasn't there, but it was his guys. My still best friend of today, Dorian Price, who's been my Muay Thai coach through my whole career. He was there that day. And I actually got my ass kicked in a different way that day that I never.
Much more technical.
Yeah. And also when you fight, you kind of walk away, even after you get your ass kicked, you're like, if I would have done this, if I would have done that. But when I was sparring with these guys and helping, they were all preparing for their fights, you know, I would get that time in between, right? We get around and then I'd think about it like, well, I just need to do this. I come back and then get my ass kicked again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, okay, I just need to do this, right?
Yeah.
Come back, get my ass kicked again. And I realized like, okay, there's an art to this, you know?
Yeah.
And literally that day I walked out and I said, I'm going to dedicate my life to this and I'm going to succeed.
So how old were you at that point? So what year?
23 years old that day.
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to commit my life to this and I'm going to succeed or I'm going to die trying. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And never look back.
So help us there. So how many years from that to UFC signed you?
4 years.
Okay.
It's pretty quick. So I stayed amateur for 1 year, fought about 12, 13 times that year.
Yeah.
Basically just fought, once a month, right? Like every single opportunity there was. And again, the commissions were different back then. It was much more lenient. Like it'd be hard to do that today.
For sure.
But I just signed up and fought literally every chance I got. I loved it. It kept me on the right path, kept me training, kept me in the gym.
Yeah.
Went pro after 1 year. And then
UFC came calling.
Yeah. Well, so I moved to New York City. I actually got a job as a personal trainer there.
Yeah.
And I was living a great life, making a lot of money, living in New York City, enjoying everything. And I was actually considering whether I wanted to pursue MMA as a career. Again, I think, this mentality of, the UFC's up here and I'm here, like this is an unbelievable thing. But they had the Ultimate Fighter tryouts in New Jersey. So I took the day off work, went over and tried out.
Season 8, 9?
Season 7.
7, okay.
Not thinking anything of it, not thinking this is going to work or anything. Just doing it for fun. And got the call. So,
Yeah.
got lucky.
And I remember I watched that season. I was like, holy crap. From Columbus, Ohio, man, we were all so pumped. So, so fast forward, obviously, lots of Muay Thai, lots of learning ground game, obviously the striking through Muay Thai and all that. You got this incredible career that lasted essentially, 19, 20 years, right?
Yeah, I was in the UFC for 16 years.
So. But fought for a living
before that.
For 20 years. Okay, so you retire. Okay, so let's bring people up to speed. We're going to bring this into the business realm. So you started Immortal. Tell us a little bit about Immortal. And again, I know some of the answers to this. Why don't you share how you started Immortal? You were still fighting at the time, if I remember.
Yeah. So one of the things that people don't really realize with the UFC is you don't really make a lot of money. And it depends on what you consider a lot of money, right? Like a lot of money to one person is all relative, right?
And there's a class action right now that demonstrated that a lot of people agree with you.
Exactly. Yeah. The judge certainly agrees. And even the UFC agreed because they settled. So,
right.
So I knew it took me a very long time to get out of the mindset of like, I'm just a fucking warrior, and hope you don't mind cussing. Sorry.
That's right. You're fine.
I'm just a warrior, and I'm going to do this until the day I die. And then, having kids and starting to realize like, wow, this isn't going to last forever, and I'm not making enough money to last forever. I can't just retire on this money. I'm not. So I started looking into other businesses and thinking about what I wanted to do. And gym was, the low hanging fruit. And I've loved coaching for a long time. I loved working with other guys. And then when I opened the gym, it didn't work out exactly the way that I expected, right? I kind of expected, dude, everybody's going to show up. I do seminars around the world all the time. I was still doing it back to anyone else fighting. I've had, 100, 150 people come to a seminar, right?
Sure.
So I'm like, well, to open up, charge $100 and everybody's going to show up. And it did not work that way at all, right? I think the first month, we had like 2 or 3 people on the mats at a time, right? And these are my buddies that aren't even paying. And, so in the back,
write me a Google review, please.
Yeah. Do something, anything, like tell your friends. So it just wasn't working the way that I had anticipated. And then I started realizing, okay, well, I'm not, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to make this, a fighter gym. And what I need to do is make it a martial arts gym. So I changed the direction a little bit and started marketing more towards, kids and martial arts.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that was probably the most impactful thing that I've done in my life.
Yeah.
Starting to realize, because then we started attracting a different crowd of people.
Yeah.
Right. And then I started realizing the power of the martial arts.
Right.
And I started realizing, I'm seeing people get sober. I'm seeing relationships improve.
Yes.
And I never even thought of this stuff, right? Like I just been in a gym just to grind as a warrior for my whole life.
Right.
But now I'm seeing everything change. And it was a profound moment in my life because I realized like I have, I have the power to change people's lives. So my entire mission changed now. Right. And now that's developed over the years. And that was what led to me retiring because, within 3, maybe 4 years, right now I have a staff developing. I have people coming in, the gym ended up, when I retired, I think we had about 150 members or something like that. I said, all these people are being sold short because I'm not putting the energy into them, right? My staff is working for shit and
carrying the weight.
And they're carrying the weight. And these people are not getting the attention they deserve and the product that they deserve, that they're paying for. So that led to me deciding to retire. I could still fight. Like I'm still healthy. Like I feel great. I could still fight today. But I decided that my new mission in life, I needed to redefine my identity again, which we talked about a little bit, which I'd done before. It's time to do it again. And now I want to be a leader in life to help people improve their lives. Through the martial arts happens to be the way that works best for me. And I think it works the best for the majority of people. But that's the mission now, to help improve the people's lives.
I love that, man, because anybody that knows me knows that one of the things I talk about is, my goal when I work with them, coaching them, whether it's private coaching, group coaching, these masterminds. Is my goal is to help you, a business owner, sometimes it's B2B sales guys, whatever, accelerate profits. So sell more, get more kids in. You know, fighters don't pay the bills, kids pay the bills. Anybody that's in martial arts, right? We all know that. I want to help people accelerate their profits so that they can reclaim back time for themselves, and then they can amplify their impact. And I just love the fact that what you're realizing is that you kind of almost did it reverse. It's like you wanted to amplify your impact, and your profits are accelerating because of that.
And I, you know what, I tell people that all the time when they talk about money and business and thing. I've never once focused solely on profit. Like I have focused on the impact and the value that I bring to the world. And I believe that the universe will return that in whatever way that it returns it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like we raise our prices before, moved hard for it. You know, I'm not a fool about it either. You know, I don't believe it, you know, like manifestation and, you know, this and saying stuff like this. But the more value that we provide to the world, the more value the world's going to provide to us. I completely agree. Keep it that simple versus trying to manipulate profits or things like that.
Sweet. Let's dive into some questions I've got prepared. Thank you so much. That really, hopefully that set the tone for folks that don't know Matt or want to be kind of caught up on what Matt's doing. But you fought at the highest levels in one of the toughest sports on earth. What would you say is like the number one mental shift that helped you perform under that kind of pressure? And maybe how could somebody that's in business, you know, own their own business, sales, whatever, how could they apply that?
Two things, sort of. So one was not focusing on the outcome, which is exactly what I was just talking about on, you know, in terms of profits, right? Like if I focus solely on the profit, then it becomes, and it's the same in a fight, right? If I focus solely on the outcome, then it becomes a problem. And now my mental energy isn't in the right place. So I focus on the way that I look at martial arts specifically, which took a lot of pressure off of me when fighting, was, you know, I'm a martial artist for life and I'm gonna die on these mats one day. Like I don't want to die in a hospital or whatever. I want to be on the mats, hopefully in a pool of blood, right? Whatever. But yeah, I'm a martial artist for life, right? So this fight is simply a picture in time. Just a snapshot of where my martial art is on that day. And that the outcome isn't relevant to my identity. Right. Like I'm still a martial artist for life.
Ooh, that's good.
Things like that.
That's good. You answered both of them. You kind of gave me two. That's so. I want to follow up on that. Has there been a mindset that you've had to completely let go of? And I don't know if we talked about the profit situation. I don't know. I think you said you kind of have always led with that. But was there a mindset switching from fighting to serving, you know, the community?
Absolutely.
What mindset did you have to let go of?
Absolutely. The biggest mindset shift was, you know, a lot of people say like fighting is selfish, and it's not. I completely disagree with that. But it is self-centered, right? I am the brand.
What's the difference between selfish and self-centered?
Well, selfish, like if selfish people do selfish things, they do it simply for themselves.
Yeah.
It is self-centered because I'm the brand and the brand is centered around me. Like no one else can go in there and fight. I have to go fight. So yes, I do have to put a lot of things to the side. I've missed birthdays, I've missed Christmases, I've missed a lot of things. So in that sense, it's self-centered. But I'm not missing that because I'm selfish and I'm more thinking about myself. I'm missing a birthday because I need to perform so that I can provide better future for my children. You know, just for one example, right? And it'd be selfish if I did it because I'm like, you know, I don't care about their birthday and I don't care, you know, I'm doing this for me. It'd be self-centered if I'm like, okay, I need to do this because I want to do it for you, for your future.
That makes sense.
Right. So I think there's a huge difference there. So anyway, the point is it is self-centered, and now my life is not self-centered, which again, self-centered is not a bad thing.
Right. If it's done right.
Selfish is a bad thing. But self-centered, I'm sorry. So now it's not self-centered. So now my business is, I have a team and it's built around them. Right. And then I have, of course, all the members and everything. And the team provides for them. Right. So now everything is just more spread out.
It's like, I think to myself, like if everybody comes in, it's like, I'm going to go to Immortal, whether it's Lewis Center, whether it's the Gahanna location, like I'm going to go to Immortal because I want to square up against Matt Brown. You know, I was gonna say, I'm sure there's guys that come in there just that want to do that, but the reality is most people aren't going to get the opportunity to do that. So that can't be only the draw. It needs to be the systems, the processes, the strategies, the mindset.
And that was a process. You know, when I began, like the vast majority of people, I didn't know how to market. I didn't know I didn't know how to build a business. I didn't know how to scale. None of these things. So at the beginning, the draw was me, right? So I was in there all the time, and you know, people were coming in specifically to train with me and learn from me and everything. And what I've done over the past few years, especially since retiring, was making the brand about my staff and about the members, the community. You know, I could go on about a lot of different things.
You're almost like the unique selling proposition. You're the USP that they may get a chance to train with you. They may get to have a conversation with you.
To be honest, I try to even avoid that. You know, I want the Immortal brand to not even be me. Right, I'm the leader of the Immortal brand, but the brand like has to mean more than just me, right? And you know, we didn't really get into it, but you know, when I talk about the identity, like the Immortal brand, like it's tattooed on my stomach, right? That's where my nickname came from. I actually didn't want the nickname. I thought it was so cheesy that I was like, dude, it's tattooed on my stomach. Like, you can't call me, you know. I was like, it's just so cheesy. Bro. You can't do this. But all the promoters, specifically one local promoter here, they would just call me the Immortal. Like I didn't even ask. I'm like, bro, that's not my nickname. We can't do that. I'm just Matt Brown. But literally, like I'd go into gyms and they would just say, hey, Immortal. You know? So it just became a thing, right? But anyway, the reason that I got that tattooed, a lot of people think it was because of the heroin overdose. And that played a part, right? But what it actually was I wanted to wake up in the morning and remind myself when I look in the mirror that nobody can mess with me. Like, you can't touch me. You can do anything you want and I'm going to come back. It just doesn't matter, right? And that's what I want to bring to the Immortal brand also. I want people to come out of my product. You know, there's the gym, and there's other products involved too. But I want them to have that empowering feeling. That nobody can stop them. They can do whatever they want.
So that's a perfect segue into this next area. You know, when you would step into the arena, literally facing someone who wants to try and knock you out, you know, how do you do that without letting fear win? And, you know, what would be that parallel for walking into like a high stakes business deal or something? And what would maybe be something that you'd encourage anybody that's listening to this? How can they borrow that from you?
So they're very different actually, because a lot of people kind of like to make they're like, bro, like you can go in there and fight a dude that wants to murder you that's a professional athlete and you're cool with it. But then, you know, then I walk into like a business meeting or something and I'm like nervous, you know. But what I've come to find over the years, so transitioning into more businesses, like it really is the same thing. And what I did in fighting was I embraced those nerves and I enjoyed the nerves. I would look forward to it, right? I would
lean into it.
Like when I get
instead of stuffing it away.
When I get butterflies in your stomach, and trust me, everybody gets butterflies before every fight. Even if you do a jiu-jitsu competition, you'll get butterflies, right? Get these butterflies, and instead of like, dude, like what am I supposed to do? Like, why am I feeling this way? I was like, yes,
here it is.
Nice.
Here we go.
This is what I wanted. And you know, again, I now do the same thing in like a business meeting. I sit down, you know, I've been on like for instance, I was on like Joe Rogan, you know, that was honestly probably like one of the most nervous things I've ever done in my entire life.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like absolutely, like way worse than fighting by a large margin, to be honest. But it took me time during the podcast to start embracing that. I was like, dude, like, why am I still nervous? You know, like,
right.
And then over time, I was like, dude, like you're supposed to be nervous. And why? But what I did was I kind of I broke it down. And it's like every skill in the world. You just break it down, right? I broke it down. It's like, okay, well, why are you nervous? Well, you're nervous because you care.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. Because if you don't care, then that comes across completely different.
And if you don't get nervous, then that means you don't care.
Right. I completely agree.
So it's like, okay, well, let's enjoy these nerves.
Yes.
And that's a good thing to have. If you're not getting nervous, then just don't even compete. Right. Don't go on the show. Right. Don't do any of that stuff. Right.
That's so good.
So I actually look for things that are going to make me nervous.
That's good.
Right. I want something that's going to give me that fire, and that means that I care. And we all want things that we care about. Right.
Right. So I love it, man. That's fantastic. So let's hit resilience and setbacks. You've had injuries, you've had losses, you had grueling fights. How do you reset and come back stronger after a setback? Because again, we got business owners, salespeople like, I didn't close that deal. I got one this morning and I'm like, dang it, that was a good one, man. And I lost it. But like, how do you reset your mind when that deal doesn't go through, or maybe it was like a fight you didn't win, because you had how many losses in the UFC?
Not enough, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but enough that it wasn't like, but did you get better from each of those? But that was a two-parter. So first thing is, what do you do to reset and come back stronger?
Yeah, so from my personal perspective, like it's not really a setback, right? And there's nothing to reset. Again, it's a snapshot in time. It's just seeing the bigger picture, right? And like, I'm still on the mission. Like, my mission from the beginning was to be the greatest fighter on this planet, right? I didn't achieve it, which is fine. Didn't get a championship, but my mission was the same. So I could wake up Monday morning, win or lose. Like, dude, my mission's still there. Like, I'm not defeated. Like, I lost that fight, but my mission is not defeated. Like, yeah, I got a road speed bump here, but my mission is still the same, right? My entire life, my identity is not attached to simply just losing this one competition. And when I started changing the perspective from a zoom out or from a zoom in to a zoom out, then it's not such a big deal, right? This is just one little piece of my life. Wake up on Monday morning, like, my kids still love me, right? They're still there for me, like, you start realizing, who your real friends are, and your real friends, they're not going to look at you any different. They're like, dude, we still love you. Like, you're still the same guy. Yeah. So just attaching the outcome, and that was kind of what I was getting at before. When you attach the outcome to your identity and you attach that to whether you're a successful person and things like that, that's what becomes a problem. But if I can zoom out and see the bigger picture and see, like, look, life is short, and all this shit, is not as meaningful as people make it out to be, right? What is actually meaningful is, like, are my kids, do they love me? Are my family and friends love me? And so it's like, when those things are in place and those boxes are checked, like, this stupid little competition or stupid little business deal, like, it doesn't really mean anything. Like, the mission stays the same.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to finish with this, but it's just a perfect time. It sounds like with as long as you've been fighting, that's almost one of the biggest life lessons that you've gotten. It sounds like from you, is that just that at the end of the day, these things don't matter as much as the things that really matter.
Exactly.
One thing I like to say is that, everybody that we talk to says, I want to leave a legacy. Well, then they don't do the things to be able to have then left one. So they focus on the end result, like in 4 disciplines of execution, they would say, the wildly important goal. If all you do is focus on the goal, but you got to focus on the things that are going to lead to the goal. So one of the things I always say is, you need to live a lasting legacy, because you got to live one before you can leave one.
I love that.
Right. So, like, what are you doing to live a legacy? So let's talk about that legacy. What's the most important thing for you now? If we're at Matt's funeral someday.
Yeah, I never cared about a legacy, honestly, in terms of fighting.
Yeah,
never have and never will. Again, it's a stupid thing that we're doing. Like, I'm going in and I'm trying to knock someone out for money.
Yeah,
and if everybody wants to talk about, like, legacy, it's like, what? Like, this is the stupid.
Jack up some dude's face. He'll have scars the rest of his life.
Yeah, like, cool, but and also, again, like, I'm big on, like, just zooming out. One day, like, we're gonna be the ancient Americans.
Yeah,
like, our names are gonna be forgotten. Like, as big as UFC is, as big as my name is, and everything, 2 or 3 generations, like, it's gonna be gone, bro. Like, why do I care about your legacy? What I care about is living my life fully as I can, and creating as much as I can during this life, and building as many things as I can, passing it on to my kids, and making them into the best people that they can be. If you want to define that as legacy, cool. Yeah, but in terms of, like, look, if I can impact the world in some way, great. And everybody else can define how that is. Like, I'm gonna live my life properly and the best that I can. I don't really know how people define legacy necessarily. I've been asked that question a million times. I'm like, bro, like, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about what can I do right now to be the
Mhm.
best person I can be, provide for my kids, provide for my family, and everything else will take care of itself. Like all that stuff I find to be pretty meaningless.
So yeah, so let's just, so if you were going to give like one bit of advice to a business owner, sales guy, even somebody struggling trying to find the right career and what they want to do, like what would be the thing that you'd say? They've been grinding, but they haven't broken through yet. What would you say? You're talking like, if you're talking to those guys right there and there's somebody on there that's live now or watching it on video, what would you say to that person?
Well, I mean, you know, it's very
They've
hard.
been grinding, but they haven't broken through.
Sure. Yeah. I think it's very hard to give general advice, right? You know, everybody's very particular and personal. So, but if I had to just pick like one thing, it's like, you know, pick your mission and stick to it. Like, I think it's that simple. I don't currently have it because my house is up for sale, but before I would have my mission written down, mission statement, personal mission statement written down on a whiteboard because it's dynamic and it changes here and there. Had it hanging in my bedroom where I wake up and it's the first thing that I see. Excuse me. And then I'd have little Post-it notes all over the house that are kind of reminding me of that. And it's like, it's so easy for us to get caught up in, you know, oh, this little bad thing happened, or, you know, oh, I didn't get this deal done, or, you know, this person didn't sign up, whatever. It's like the mission still doesn't change. Yeah. If you allow that to affect your mission, then you're just being weak. Right. So, you know, and I always look at it all as like everything. The only reason that I became as high level of fighter as I am, this is probably my most important lesson to anyone in the world. The only difference between me and everyone else as a fighter was I did what I said I was going to do. I'll give you a great story. You know who Louis Simmons is. Some of these might not. So Louis Simmons was the head of Westside Barbell, over 150 world records. Powerlifting gym, the most legendary powerlifting gym in the world. Louis is just an amazing person all around. So one day, it was at the Arnold's, and during the Arnold's, hundreds of people would go to Westside Barbell and visit. So there's always people there, and Louis just telling them all the knowledge in the world, all the information. He's there for 8-10 hours just telling everybody every little trick they do and everything. And I was like, Louis, like, why do you tell everybody like every secret? Like he's like, because they won't do it. Wow. And that simple thing there made me start thinking deeply about that. And okay, so he puts out newsletters. They video their training. He's got 100 books out there, not 100, 20 books, whatever. Like anybody can do exactly what these guys did. But nobody does. The reason that they had 150 world records and the strongest guys in the world is because they did what they said they were going to do. Okay. Right? When they said 100 reps, they did 100. Yeah. They didn't do 99. and I, again, so circling back, that's the only difference between me and everybody else, in my opinion. I'm not more athletic. I don't think I'm necessarily stronger minded. Maybe I am. But when I said I was going to do 100, I did 100, and I would dive to get that at 100. Like I wouldn't care so much about my life. Like what's more important is that I get to that 100. Yeah. So somebody could be in sales, like I'm going to make 50 phone calls today. Okay, well then do what you said you're going to do. Do it because they're lying to themselves. And you know, we always talk about lying to other people. It's your reputation. It's you know. But how about the folks that are lying to themselves? They're literally chinking away at the armor of their confidence. And exactly, I was going to say that. So and then to get a little deeper into that, if you want to hear my whole TED talk, here's what happens. And I'll use the fight analogy because it's a simple one, right? You walk into a fight and you're going to sit there and you're going to say, I'm going to win. I'm going to beat him. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. That's your conscience telling you that. Right. If you were on the treadmill last week and you said, I'm going to do 45 minutes, but you did 44, your subconscious is like, you're a liar. You're going to override. You're not going to do this. Right. So then you walk into the fight and you say, I'm going to win. Your subconscious. I don't believe you. Like, I don't believe you, bitch. Like, what are you talking about? You're going to go do that. Do you remember last week? Right. Every single day you said you were going to do something, you didn't do it. And you didn't do it. So the subconscious doesn't show up in a line with the conscious. Like information is nothing these days. It's everywhere. Yeah. It's not valuable at all, right? We can get information anywhere. It's like when I teach techniques for jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and everything. You know, people ask me all these technical questions. And I'm like, I'll answer all your questions, tell you, like, you could also just go on YouTube and figure out the same thing. But are you
Chat GPT.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah, that's right.
Are you going to?
Everybody's
put in
looking for
reps?
everybody's looking for the hack.
Yeah.
It's like just go do the work.
Yeah. And then when you want to get into the confidence part of what you were alluding to a little bit, it's like what is confidence? Confidence is just your mind knowing, like, I've done this before, and therefore I can do it again. Right? Like, I've done this so many times. Like, if you've done it once, you have a little bit of confidence. You did it twice, you got a little bit more.
Yeah.
You do it 1,000 times, you don't have any question whether you can do it, right?
Right.
But those guys that have never done it and then say they're confident, like, they're just lying to themselves. And those guys that have lied to themselves over and over again, now when they walk in there, into something intense, whether it's a business deal or whether it's a competition, their subconscious is going to question everything. And that's the only thing that you need to win is the subconscious. Your conscious is not going to win anything for you.
There's actually a book called Leadership and Self-Deception by the Harbinger Institute, and it talks about when you're lying to yourself, literally, exactly. And you didn't even read the book, but
I haven't read it.
You're literally,
read it now.
Yeah. I'll send it to you. It's but it spoke to that. If you know that you should be doing something and you've spoken that you're going to do it, and then you don't, you literally are chinking away at your self-confidence. Yes. And I couldn't say it any better than the way you did. All right, we're at a good spot where we're going to pause. Guys, if you've got any questions for Matt, and I'm just going to let you know, we're going to run a little bit long. So if you got a dip, totally understand. But if you got questions for Matt, put them in the chat. And then Pete, what I'll probably have you do is, if you can unmute and maybe read the questions as they come in, and who they're from, and then we'll do that. And I've got some rapid fire ones that I'm going to do while we're waiting. Some really fun. This is the Expert Edge hot seat. So, but guys, real quickly, please drop a chat in if you got any questions. The first one daily habit that you never skip. Is there one daily habit? Besides go to the restroom and eat?
No, right?
Water. Or is there not one?
I'm gonna say, I am a believer in habits to an extent. I just wouldn't say I'd never skip it, because I could think of some.
What's the one that you hardly ever skip?
Cold plunge.
Okay.
And not because.
And when do you do the cold plunge? Because there's a lot of people.
As soon as I wake up.
So that's Tony Robbins the same way. He said for 27 years, every single day, wherever he's at, anywhere in the world, he does it because he's teaching his mind that you are not in control. I'm the one that's in control. Yes. But is it the same reason?
He said it better than I did.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all it is. And I didn't want to harp on too much because I have skipped it a few times.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's all it is like, you're so comfortable, you're chilling there in this warm bed, and the last thing you want to do is go jump in some cold water. Yeah. But I go do it, and now I feel like I'm on a mission. Yeah. Mindset now.
I have a version.
He said it better than me. But
he's a legend. Sure. So I have a little tiny version of that I do. Is every time I get in the shower, the last 2 minutes of the shower is I turn it off and then I kick it up. So I go from a nice warm shower because I was on the mat and I'm sweaty and I want to wash everything off of me. But I literally, and there's times where I'm like, it's Saturday, I don't need to do it. Well, I'm like, no, no, I'm going to do it. And so I'm about I'm 15 months into every single shower.
Nice.
I do it every shower. Nice. Saturday, Sunday, going to church, I'll do it on Sunday. All right, best book you've ever read, or best, I was going to say on mental toughness, but what about one of the best books that you'd recommend?
So depend.
Depend on whether it's business or life or
My favorite book that I've ever read is Musashi.
Musashi.
Yeah.
By
not the Book of Five Rings.
Okay.
But it's about Musashi, who wrote the Book of Five Rings.
Okay.
The guy's name is Eli something or Edgy something. It was written in like the 50s.
Okay.
Musashi's my, I don't know, idol, mentor. I don't know what you call it, right? But I'm a huge. If you don't want to read the book, I'll suggest this to everyone. There's a podcast with Jocko and Tim Ferriss.
Yeah.
They dissected the book.
Sweet.
It's fucking brilliant.
Okay.
It is absolutely brilliant. And
Pete, can you drop those in the chat, please?
Yeah, and Musashi is tattooed on me right here.
Okay, right on.
I'm a huge believer in this ancient wisdom. They said things a lot more simpler back then. For sure. Whereas now we're repeating all those same things, but we're saying it in a way, to touch people in a different way. And it's like Musashi, he has It's called the Dokudo, his 21 rules of life.
Okay.
There's 21 sentences on how to live.
Okay.
And it's literally just 21 sentences. And if you just read it, a lot of it sounds like kind of silly. It says something like, do not pursue the taste of good food, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like what? Like I want to eat good food,
Yeah.
But you can just imagine like how much deeper that actually goes. Like,
for sure.
Like there's a million TED Talks and podcasts every day about that same concept.
Yeah.
He's just using like good food as an example, right?
And it seems like I just finished a week ago, Meditations of Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, yes.
A lot of that.
Brilliant.
And anybody that reads the Bible, Proverbs, it's just,
the
they say the wisest man ever, Solomon, just like lays out.
Brilliant
Proverbs.
stuff.
What about a reset button after a bad day? Like if you just like, it was a bad day. Is there anything that you do in today's world? I know what you might have done in the past, but what do you do to reset?
No reset. I stay on it no matter what.
Yeah. The bottom line is if you plan to go to the gym at night, go get some training, you're just going to do it.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have to reset I'm a huge believer in, I think I'm a little bit blessed also with stoicism. I think I was just naturally kind of born that way.
Yeah.
Again, I guess if you would say there would be a reset button, it's just zooming out.
Yeah. I love that.
We get so caught up in the moment and what's happening right now. Just zoom out, bro. Like this life, we're little, flashes of light
of dust,
of
dust,
a little
but
bit
of vapor.
Dust. Yeah, it's nothing, man. And
I think I'm a faith-based person, so I completely align with that as well. Like we are literally just we are but a vapor, and life is but a vapor as well. It's like at the end of the day, like do the best that we can, live in the way that we're going to live. But
and one thing I say to myself,
I love that.
maybe not resonate with people, but I'm sure we've all heard it before. If it's not going to affect me in 5 years, it shouldn't affect me for 5 minutes.
Yes, absolutely, it's good. Or allow yourself just a couple minutes and go, okay, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah, well, okay, that would be the next part. Yeah, again, that's why it's not necessarily a reset, but it's just as simple like accepting things the way that they are, which is Musashi's first rule, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a sort of a Buddhist thing, right? And I think there's a lot of references to that in the Bible too. Just being accepting, like. So if you have this emotion, like you accept the emotion, you don't try to control the emotion, you don't try to change it, you allow it to do its work.
Yeah.
And
sit in it and work through it.
Yeah, it's like it's okay, like you're going to feel these emotions.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Pete, I don't know if we've got any that have jumped in. If not, I can keep rolling. If everybody's just like locked in listening, I'm gonna keep diving in. But so I got a couple more here. If you could give your 20-year-old self one sentence of advice, what would it be?
My 20-year-old self was a mess. Jesus. It would probably be the quote on the back of my shirt. Stop trying to find yourself and start to define yourself.
Yeah, it's good that we came back to that. I want to remember that one. Biggest waste of time for anyone that's chasing success.
Wow. Okay.
Challenging.
Okay. Well, I will put my own experience on that.
That's fine.
And like I said, my own biggest waste of time is chasing small things to the left and right. Just stay centered. There's one thing.
Yeah.
Focus on that until it's absolutely peaked to the ceiling. And then maybe throw in some side hustles or whatever kind of other garbage. It's like, stay centrally focused. Yeah.
A great book called The Millionaire Next Door talks about the example, and I've heard it both in oil and in gold, where somebody was digging for oil. They're digging, didn't find anything. They go 50 feet away, digging. They go 50 feet. And then they zoom out and they show, so the guy ends up selling the land. He's like, I'm going to go find something else. And then somebody else comes in and just digs down. And the dude was like 2 feet away, greatest amount of oil that the nation's ever seen, the United States has ever seen.
Yeah, that's a brilliant one.
Song or playlist that puts you in your zone? Because a lot of people don't know, you love to shred, man. Like, so what would be some of your songs that just like, you just get it?
Some of the, I guess older like metal stuff, like Pantera, the early on Pantera stuff and Hatebreed stuff, which I know the initial reaction when people hear that kind of stuff is they think it's like angry music or whatever, but it's actually extremely, extremely positive.
Yeah.
Especially like the Hatebreed stuff is, what he's speaking about, the entire name Hatebreed is like use that hate and anger towards positivity.
Yeah.
Right. And that stuff always resonated with me very strong because I did grow up an angry, high energy, angry person. And when I started directing that anger towards positivity, then my life changed.
Yeah. So I know we kind of,
go ahead, cut you off, but when I talk about how angry, you call it depression, whatever the heck you want to call it, right? All of these emotions went towards partying. But that's why it went so extreme. And then I just turned it towards something positive. Right. And that got me to a pretty high level.
Yeah, right.
By just directing that energy in a different way.
Yeah.
We all have energy. It all goes somewhere.
Right.
Which way do you want to put it?
Yeah, that's good. Last couple ones here. One physical workout everyone should be doing, even if they're not a fighter. Besides and I was gonna say besides the cold plunging would be the habit, but what about a physical workout?
Heavy strength training.
Yeah.
Heavy.
For bone density, for
you already know.
Go ahead.
Ligaments, tendons, bone density, blood pressure. Because the other one I'd add that is like long cardio too. Get the veins and capillaries moving a little bit better. But when you talk about heavy strength training, there's nothing that's going to serve you better at the later stages of your life than heavy strength training.
Yeah, and every Tuesday and Thursday, I got a guy kicking my butt, and he's like, "We need to be a little bit more like 1920s than 2020s." And so,
I love it.
I mean, just super heavy stuff. I'm 60 years old now, and my muscle mass has changed over the last couple of years. And
I think you said you put on muscle, right?
Yes,
and that's a rare thing.
I've lost weight and put on muscle, and I look at it like I'm climbing a hill, and I feel like I'm staying in one spot. But the reality is, my muscle mass is changing, and I'm just trying not to let the old man in. That's kind of where I'm at.
So slowly.
Yep.
And that's again, where people lose track of the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
Because they zoom in. This one workout was so hard, and I don't see any changes.
Yeah.
But it takes
incremental changes, exponential growth.
Absolutely.
Incremental changes.
Absolutely. Or one of the quotes I use for fighters all the time is boring work is where all the exciting results come from.
Yeah. Boring work. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. All right. So this is a good spot where we'll probably cut things off. Glad for all that were able to join us live. For anybody that's watching this after the fact, Matt Brown, UFC legend, absolute honor and a pleasure, my man. Appreciate you.
You have no questions from the guys?
Yeah, that's just going to say this is a good spot that we'll kind of pause it. And but